everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie. Today, I'm sharing with you what's in my current makeup basket. So, I have this gray basket. I got this from, I believe, Dollar General, that I use to put kind of everything that I'm currently using, and this just helps me kind of minimize, and I don't have as big of a collection as I once did, but helps me just kind of have what I'm reaching for in one place. It helps me then, like, I can do regular rotates of products and all of that good stuff. But having this, and I know I just got to grab this and, like, you know, go to town, has been really, really helpful for me, like getting ready and feeling a little bit less stressed with decision fatigue and things of that nature. So I thought I would share with you what currently is in my basket. If you are new to my channel, hi, I'm Maggie. I'm a recovering makeup, shopping addict. So I do have a lot smaller of a collection than I once did, but I still like to have some variety and switch things up. So I'm currently working on 2 makeup related projects in my kind of makeup journey this year. So I've got a project pan going on right now, and I also am doing a rotating pan nose palette. So those products are all in here, of course, so that I'm getting my uses on them, but I do have some other kind of fun things sprinkled in here too. So let's go ahead and dive in. How I have this set up is I have kind of like palettes stacked in the back. I've got this little like holder for smaller products. I've got a row of like powders and stuff, and then I just have some loose stuff down here. So I'm going to kind of pick through in the different categories with hopefully not trying to make too much of a disaster. I also took this opportunity to wipe down all of the makeup packaging, get any little powder residue and like oils and all of that off. And my makeup feels brand new again. And so I would highly suggest just taking a little like makeup remover wipe or baby wipe, or I just used a cloth and some all-purpose spray and just cleaned it out, and it feels great. So let's go ahead and start with like eye-related products. So I have my eyeshadow primer. I really like the Milani eyeshadow primer. Lasts me forever. I think I probably go through like one a year. So this is what I use. And then as far as eyeshadows go, the eyeshadows that I have in here are all related to my rotating pan nose palettes. I can link my most recent video. So I've got the Natasha Denona Mini Retro palette in here right now, which has, some really pretty greens and pinks, which felt appropriate for like Valentine's and St. Patrick's Day and all of that. I also have a Z palette, a small Z palette, and this houses different ColourPop shades that I take out of their palettes and pop in here. There's also an ABH shade, but I really like having a small Z palette. I do have a larger one as well, but this works well for just kind of hand picking a few shades. And then I also have my Natasha Denona Glam palette, which I did pop the shades out and reorganize. So this is what mine looks like. This is a new palette to me, but I'm really loving it. So highly would recommend. Very happy I have that. So that's kind of like the eyeshadow situation. And again, probably for some of you, nothing new there. But I also have in here a cream shadow. This is the e.l.f. No Budge Shadow Stick. This is in the shade Champagne Crystal. So it's in the stick format, which I think is really great because you can just like draw it on to your eyes. And there is a sharpener at the bottom that can pull out. I don't really feel the need to use it, but this is such a gorgeous shade. This has kind of become my like, I don't know, just real fast. If I want to look a little bit more polished, I'll reach for that. So that's a swatch of it there. It's got a nice like reflect to it. It's kind of like a, just kind of warm champagne shade. So really like that. And I should note, I always keep my small makeup eraser in here. It's super stained, but I do wash this regularly. And I use it so then I can, wipe up anything. Like I put foundation on the back of my hand and, just things like that. So I can kind of keep my hands clean as I do my makeup. So this is also always in here. And then as far as my mascara goes, I really love the CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara. This is just my go-to. So it's got like an hourglass shaped natural bristle wand. Really love it. The waterproof version is also very nice. And I switch these quarterly, helps me remember. But I also, because this is the only mascara I use, when it does get to like now, mid-March, because I'll switch a new one April 1st, it definitely is starting to dry up a little bit. I'm having to like dip back in. So yeah, that quarterly time frame is working well for me, but that is my mascara of choice. And I think that's it for like traditional eye products. I do have 2 brow products as well. I have the Milani, what do they call this? Stay Put Brow Color. It's their pomade. I have this shade Soft Brown at 01, the lightest shade offered. And this is a new one that I got at the beginning of the year. I had this one before and it lasted me like 2.5, 3 years really well. So I did just replace it, but I do love a pomade. However, when I don't want to spend as much time on my brows, I also like the e.l.f. Wow Brow. And I use the shade, goodness, that is really small, taupe. So this is just like one of those tinted, super tiny wands, but a tinted gel with a little bit of fiber in it. That's what I have on my brows today, just to kind of define them a little bit and also to just kind of like brush them out a little bit. So I also like to use that. And I think that's it for eye stuff. I guess if we come across anything else, we'll mention it. But moving into kind of complexion related items, I have 2 primers currently in my basket. So the first one is the Milani Chill Out Soothing Primer. I really enjoy this. This is the primer that I use most days of the week. So I work from home. I do not wear makeup every day, but sometimes I like just to put on a little bit of a primer like this. I have oily skin. So even if I don't want to put on like all my makeup, sometimes I'll do this and like some mascara and brow gel and call it a day. And this just kind of helps smooth out my skin and keep me a little bit more matte throughout the day. I also like it under like my powder foundation and all that stuff too. So this one I like. It does not wear as long as my other primer for my oily skin, but again, I work from home, so it's not like I need my makeup to last super long. And even so, the webcam kind of distracts a little bit. So that's kind of my daily primer. And then when I need my face to be a little bit more matte or hold makeup longer, I really enjoy this Fenty primer. So this is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter. This is the true matte version. There are other versions. This is the trial size because I wasn't sure. I love it. So I will be purchasing a full size. And I think I might just hold on to this little one and keep it for actual travel because it is convenient that it's, smaller, but I really, really love this. And I think probably in the summer when it's warmer and my skin is just even more oily, I probably will move away from the Milani and just use the Fenty for a while, but right now I like having both. So that's the primer. I have 2 kind of coverage products. I've got a Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. This is kind of like a BB cream tinted moisturizer. So I really like this as a liquid product. I can apply this with my beauty blender usually and just blend it in pretty quickly. And it is buildable. I would say like a medium to medium plus, if you will. So I really like it because it doesn't have to get to medium. It can be a, lightweight kind of thinner product, just kind of correcting some redness and all of that. But yeah, I really like this as my liquid product. But day to day, I've been really into powder foundation. So I have the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour Fresh Wear Powder Foundation. A lot of words, but I've really loved this. I know it's like TikTok famous. My packaging broke recently, but still works really well, and it still kind of like snaps on, just the hinge broke. So I wear this most days, like that's what I have on today. And yeah, just for work, if I want something quick, I can buff this in. I use a flat top kabuki from Sigma that I've had forever, and it works really well just to kind of buff in and call it a day. So really like that as well. And right now I'm just using one concealer, the e.l.f. Hydrating Camel Concealer. So this is a satin finish. I have the shade Fair Beige, but I really like this. I just use a little bit under my eyes, and then if I have any breakouts that I feel like I want to cover, but I don't know. I don't use as much concealer as I once did. Usually just kind of like a dot under each eye and call it a day. I feel like glasses kind of help me cover that up a little bit. So yeah, this is the concealer I use, but I don't use a ton of it. I certainly don't use it every day. Then let's get into powder. So when I use where did it go? When I use the BB cream, the tinted hydrator, I will set this down with a powder. So I have the Too Faced Peach Perfect powder. My last one, I'm so sad that Too Faced discontinued the Peach Perfect line because the primer, the foundation, the powder were fantastic. So very sad. But anyway, this is my translucent powder. I do prefer loose translucent powder to set down a cream or like liquid product. And this works really well. It just helps me kind of keep matte, keeps anything from sliding around, and just also kind of sets the liquid down so I can go in with like blush and powder bronzer and all of those other fun things. So this I only use when I use the tinted hydrator. If I use the powder foundation, I don't have a need to use this. But I also have in here this Hourglass Quad that is a couple years old now. I wish it would say like holiday whatever year. So in here there is a couple of products, but this is a ambient, finishing powder that I like to use under my eyes or in the center of my face just to set, but also give a little bit of brightness without being highlighter. Because again, I'm oily, so I don't need to look any shinier, but I do like a little bit of brightness, and this helps. So I've obviously got pan in there. And then of course I have a blush, highlighter, and bronzer. I'm currently not really using these other ones. I'm just using this, setting powder really, but these are available to me, I suppose, if I wanted to use them. But speaking of other products, so this is also kind of where we get into Project Pan. This is one of my Project Pan items, this e.l.f. bronzer. This is the primer infused bronzer, and the packaging is literally on its last legs. So gonna be careful here, but just a nice bronzer. I have no idea what the shade is. There's no sticker on here anymore. So your guess is as good as mine, probably the lightest one, to be honest. But yeah, this is the bronzer I'm using each day, hoping to finish it up soon. So that's kind of the go-to. And then for blush, I've got two blush options. This is the one I'm using most frequently, I would say. This is from Milani. It's one of their rose powder blushes. I have the color Romantic Rose 01. It's like this very kind of nude neutral blush, but I love it because it's soft, but it gives just a little hint to the cheek so you don't look so flat. But it's not super overpowering in the sense that if I was doing, a bolder eye or a bolder lip, this wouldn't like get in the way, if that makes sense. So I really like it. And also for wintertime, I'm at my palest right now. So it's not too overpowering on my fair skin either. So really, really love that. But I also have in here my CoverGirl Clean Fresh Blush Palette. There are a couple different versions of this at the drugstore. I have the Plum Blossom, which I believe is the darkest variety. And these are really pigmented. You don't need much, but if I just kind of lightly tap my brush in, and then blend it lightly, I can get some really beautiful colors and looks out of this. So I think my favorite right now is this middle shade, like this true kind of like plum purple. That's really pretty. And then this one has some sparkle in it. It's a little bit more of a magenta, I would say. But yeah, these two I'm reaching for quite a bit. Not so much the red. I like this one a little bit more in the summertime, kind of like the sunburnt look. But yeah, if I want something a little bit brighter as opposed to this nude blush, then I have this option in my basket right now. And then for highlighter, these are also in my Project Pan. These are two ColourPop Super Shock highlighters. So I have Lunch Money, which is a little bit more of like a golden tone, like a white gold. It's really pretty. I have it on today. I really love these. And then the other one I have is Monster, which gives kind of like a pink purple shift. So if I'm wearing a cooler tone eye look, I'll go for Monster. If I'm wearing a warmer tone eye look, I go for Lunch Money. And that seems to work really, really well for me. So really like these, and they apply over powder products really well because they're kind of that cream to powder finish. I don't have any issues with it like caking up or balling or being streaky. So that's why I really like this formula because it's easy. And if I wanted to put it, with cream products, I could. If I want to put it with powder products, I can. It's awesome. So really like these. And the last kind of face item in here is my setting spray. So this is the Milani Make It Last Original Setting Spray. I know that there's different versions. I haven't tried any of the other versions, but this one works fine for me. I don't use this every day to like actually set my makeup, certainly on longer days. Like weekends come to mind, or if I'm going to some sort of like party or whatever, I will use this. But more often, I will use this to do my eyeliner. So I don't buy eyeliner anymore. I just use eyeshadow from my different, all the different pans I have going in my collection. So I put one spray of this on the back of my hand, get my flat liner brush wet, and then I go into a particular shade, and then it kind of makes my own liner. And because of the ease of having just a setting spray, I'm sure water would work fine too, but having the ease of a setting spray in my basket just to do one spray on my hand and make my little concoction, this gets used more frequently for that than actually setting my face. But when I do want to set my face, this works well. So that brings us to lip products. And I, of course, have different lipsticks and lip glosses in my purse, and things like that. But the couple of items I have in this is actually like a candle holder. We have a whole set of these. So I took one of these just to like kind of keep some of these skinnier, taller products like together. So I do keep a lip balm in here. This is a Sun Bum SPF 30 lip balm. So when I start my makeup, like when I put primers on, I'll put on a lip balm to kind of just soak in while I'm doing the rest of my makeup. And then I have a, what do you call this? Revolution Velvet Kiss Lip Crayon in the shade Chauffeur. I really love this. Chauffeur is a fantastic, like My Lips But Better type shade from Makeup Revolution. So that's the swatch of it there. So if I want to put like color on right away, I can do that. Or I also really like this Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb. This is the Sweet Mouth shade. And this is kind of like a clear gloss. I mean, there's a little bit of color to it, but it's really just kind of like that clear nude shimmery gloss. So you're seeing it catch the light there. And a lot of times I just want to put something like this on and go about my day. So yeah, those are the two lip products I keep in here, but certainly I have others happening in other places. And then I just keep my tweezers in there too. And I prefer I don't know what this is called, detailing tweezer. These are from Real Techniques, but it's like the needle point, not the slanted. I can't use those. I end up ripping out too many eyebrow hairs, but these ones I can pull out like just one specific hair. So I really, really like this like fine needle tip tweezer situation. So I just keep it in this red jar here. And that's my current makeup basket. When I switch out my palettes for my next like round of rotating palettes, I will definitely reevaluate, probably switch some blushes that complement the shades that I'm picking for my eyeshadows, and probably just rework some things. But I'm really happy with the selection. I have, like I said, couple of choices along the way, so I don't feel like I'm stuck to the same makeup look every day, but certainly having all of this in one basket that I can just reach for, and I know that everything I need is in one place, has been really, really helpful for me. Would love to hear how often you all rotate your makeup. Do you do some sort of like designated products and then like a weekly, monthly, quarterly, whateverly type of review and switch? Or do you just have everything in front of you and pick what you want? I'm always curious how everybody like does that. So yeah, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to connect with you in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for my Project Pan update, which will be up at the end of the week. Definitely some exciting movements there. So I will see you in that video. Thanks again for watching, and take care. Bye.